Thank you.
I was thinking about doing something like that for my office.
Thank you. You should, because it's a whole vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Empowered Lives podcast. It's your host, Joe Bonnie, the Healthy Habits and Lifestyle Coach. Y'all, if you are looking for a Healthy Habits and Lifestyle Coach, go ahead and click the link in the description of this video. Today's guest is Bear Walker, and we're going to get all into his background as him as a child. But the most important part, this is going to be a vibe all about the importance of movement and how to really integrate this into your healing and into your lifestyle, because it's just kind of vital for it. But y'all already know, before we dive into this episode, before we get really high with the vibes, y'all, come vibe with me, y'all. Welcome to the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast.
I like this.
Yo, Bear, you did that Philly style? You was getting it. That was better than Jammie's bowl. I feel you. It was still a good vibe.
Make sure I let her know.
It was still a good vibe. Yo, so welcome to the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No, it is a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, when we get into this thing, why do you feel like movement is such a big deal when it comes to healing for women with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis, but importantly, just as a being? Why do you believe movement is such a vital part of your life?
Oh, I mean, honestly, it goes back to the old saying, a body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. It's very true, and it still holds true to this day. The more you're in movement frequently, the better your body flows, the better your connection to your body flows, the better the liquids in your body flows. You're mostly made of liquids, so it's important that they are in motion and that they're fluid. It's important for one, because staying in motion helps your mental state, helps your emotional state, as well as your physical state, and helps to fight off different ailments that a lot of people in your audience suffers with on a regular basis.
I love it. What first got you all into being a trainer? What made you fall in love with movement? Were you always in love with movement?
Somewhat. So I was always kind of like a hyper kid. And my mom got me into martial arts at a very young age, got me into training, got me into more discipline at a young age. Now, of course, I'm a human being, so I fall in and out of discipline at times. I have. Obviously, I go through my own journeys like everybody else. But at a young age, I saw my mother working hard, getting up early in the morning, going out for walks and runs before having to work, an 8 or 12-hour shift. I saw her dedication, and I would go out with her. I'd wake up, no school, wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm outside hoofing it with my mom. And later in life, I started to fall in love with sports a little bit more. Like, I used to play basketball, and I was pretty good, actually. I had a nice little jump shot. But then I found football and fell in love. It was more so like, I can throw my entire body into another person's body and not go to jail? That's cool. Let me try that.
What was your position?
But I played Ironman football, which means I pretty much played every position possible that would benefit the team. So I played offensive line and defensive line. I was a nose guard. I was a center, a tackle, a running back. And pretty much the only positions I didn't play in high school was quarterback and wide receiver.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. I did everything else. Yeah. But in order to prep for football, I had already gotten out of shape. I had stopped going outside so much as a kid, stopped exploring and playing with my friends, and really sat down and played video games a lot. And there's nothing wrong with video games. There's great benefits to video games. But I did it too much as a kid, and sat down with your bag of Doritos and your cheese puffs and your cheesecake, and you start, not being so healthy. And I wanted to play football. So I realized the shape that I was in. I realized what my body was what I put my body through. And I wanted to make it a better body and treat it better. And so I started to study and learn around the age of 13 to prep for football. And it kind of got the ball rolling there again. And it's been a part of my life ever since.
I love it. I love it. And so what was the first thing that you kind of played into when it came to like training after you started falling in love with just movement for yourself and movement in your own body?
Well, when I first started, so I started with the basics, strength training, endurance training, speed. So it was more
And who were
sports.
you training first? Was it yourself or?
Yeah, so essentially, I got a trainer when I was 13. He wasn't actually not officially a trainer. It was actually a guy that worked in church. He went to church with me, and
Okay.
he was in really good shape. And he was a football player as well. And he kind of helped guide me to get in shape. When we first met, I couldn't even do a push up, and I was 13 years old, couldn't do a single push up. It was hard, but he helped me push through. And then after that, I started training myself. And then once the people in school started to see my results, I started training the sports teams in my high school as well. And
And
that's
they
when I
just brought
became
you
a personal trainer. I'm sorry, say again.
and they just brought you on. It was like, oh, Bear, we see you out here. You putting in that work. I need you to come help with the baseball team or
Essentially, yeah, pretty much like that because I had been playing football already. I went through the junior varsity team, made it up to varsity, and I'd made a good improvement in my body over like a summer or two. And the coaches who were all cool with, some of them were teachers of mine, they noticed my results, and we actually came up with a program together called the Bigger, Better, Stronger program, where it's a simple layout, but it did help improve the strength, explosiveness, and speed of pretty much every athlete in our school that took part in it.
I love it. Did you ever think about
They
them
even gave
like
me a
keeping
key to
the
the weight room.
program in there, like after
Yeah,
you were
they
done?
kept that program as far as I know, they kept that program after I graduated high school.
Look at you leaving a legacy in high school, all around your love for movement. That is dope. I
Yeah,
like
yeah, thank
it.
you.
Okay, go ahead, Bear. So, kind of getting in a little bit more in depth when it comes to actually working out. Can you break down? Let's say someone's just now starting, getting their body moving. What are some things they should consider? Because so many people say, "Oh, do this exercise, do that exercise," but they might not know how many reps to do or how many sets to do, how fast, how slow. Because I know all of that depends. Can you break that philosophy down just a little bit for those who are just now getting started?
Yeah, actually, definitely. So first off, when it comes to if you haven't done it in a long time, if you haven't had any physical activity, if you haven't exercised regularly, or if you've never done it, first thing to do is if you have any sort of ailments, diseases, any sort of health conditions whatsoever, speak to a doctor, speak to a medical professional first, see what you have, based on what you have, what's going on in your body, what you can do, right? So first of all, know what you can do to start off and listen to your body. Your body's going to tell you if you're doing too much or not enough. Your body's going to tell you if what you're doing, if the movements you're doing is not beneficial to you, or if it's going to hurt you. Be aware, listen to yourself. Don't push too hard. Even me, if I take a year off from working out, which has happened in the past, but if I take a year off from working out, when I start back up again, I don't have the mindset. I know the knowledge, but I know my body is not used to it anymore. So I know I have to start slow. So starting slow. Do not try to do high intensity workouts when you're first starting off. You have to pay attention to your body. More so working on like plyometrics, body weight exercises, stretching, flexibility, endurance, and durability is very important. You want to focus on these low impact exercises and types of exercises when you're first starting off, so that your body can start getting acclimated to the workouts.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah,
So
and then
basically,
of course,
start slow first. Got to
yeah,
start slow
start slow. Definitely
first.
start slow.
Get into
Ask a
stretching,
professional.
connecting. Okay.
Right. If you're in a gym setting, you have trainers there. You don't have to sign up for personal training. You can ask them a couple of tips and stuff like that. Of course, you have the internet. You can always look up stuff on the internet too. But having someone there in person is also really beneficial because they can really break things down for you in a way that you can understand that the internet cannot at times.
I got you. So starting off slow, think stretching, using your own body weight, and then
Mhm.
just asking for resources or asking for assistance if you're in the actual gym and there's other people around that are a little bit more experienced. In regards to reps, sets, and pace,
Mhm.
is there like a basic area you should start off with when you're talking about how many reps you need to put in? It's like, is it standard around the board?
There isn't necessarily a standard because it really depends on each specific person.
Okay.
So your goals are going to be completely different from mine.
Okay.
One, because you're a female, I'm male. I probably outweigh you by 100 pounds. I want to look a certain way that you don't want to look a certain way. It really depends on each individual. So knowing the difference in between sets, reps, and tempo is important, especially when you're first starting off. It's not hard to get, but let's say, for instance, your reps, short for repetitions. Your repetitions are how many full range of motion exercises that you execute. So say, for instance, if you're doing a curl, the full range of motion would be to go all the way down and then come all the way back up. That is a rep, your start to finish motion. Now, if you have a collection of those reps, let's say, for instance, you do that 20 times, that's 20 reps, and then you rest. That would be a set. A set is your collection of reps. And your rep is just how many times you complete that exercise. Your tempo, now that's also pretty important. Your tempo is about how you want to affect your body, how you want to affect your muscles. So for instance, if you want to do a high intensity workout, your tempo is going to be faster. You're going to give yourself less rest time in between. You're going to impact your muscles, your tendons, your lungs, your heart at a more rapid pace than you would at a slower tempo. And for people who have certain ailments, certain issues with joints, you want to take a slower tempo. If you're experienced and you've done it for a while, you're kind of hitting your stride, maybe increase your tempo, increase your intensity. It's important to know these things so that way you can kind of dictate your workout and make sure that you're actually working towards your goals and not just doing stuff that may not be best for you.
I got you. So what if it's someone who wants to lose weight? Should they consider a certain type of pace, or still just overall based on a goal? Like if somebody wants to lose weight, should they be at a faster pace or should they be at a slower pace? Because I've heard different things before.
Okay. Well, working out in general, if you're working out and you're at least making some small dietary changes, you're going to lose weight. If you lower the calories you eat throughout the day and work out, you're definitely going to lose weight. I lose weight without trying a lot of times, but that is unfortunately, that's the thing that happens with a lot of men, is that we kind of don't have to try super hard to lose weight, but we don't have to try hard to gain it either. It's, you have a couple beers, a couple sandwiches, and all of a sudden your stomach's a little rounder than it was yesterday. But when it comes to losing weight, if you're doing physical activity, you're going to lose the weight. Your tempo, like I said, it really depends on your level of fitness and your level of experience and where you are currently in your journey. If you're just starting off in your journey, take it slow. No matter whether you want to lose weight or gain weight, take it slow. If you're doing walks 30 minutes, 3 times a week, you're going to see improvement in your health, how you feel. You're going to see a difference in how your clothes fit you. If you add in strength training at least twice a week, you're going to lose the weight. If you're adding on muscle, lean muscle, exactly, then you're going to see a change in your body. You're going to feel the change in your body, and it's going to happen in the pace that it should happen. Now, if you feel like you can increase the intensity, then do so. You're going to see results faster. You're going to increase that frequency that you're having that intensity. You're going to see the results faster as long as you're doing it properly and not hurting yourself.
I got you. So with your experience training women with endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome, what has been like the most effective way of approaching movement for those types of clients?
Okay. So starting with endometriosis. So for women, I have had a couple clients that have had endometriosis. For them, you want to do low intensity workouts. So you don't need to do high intensity work because endometriosis is already uncomfortable. It's causing you discomfort inside your body and your uterus and pelvic area. You're already in pain most of the time, and you probably don't feel like doing a lot of stuff. You're probably cramped up. You probably just want to kind of huddle under a blanket. So start slow, low impact work. Walking, even like a light brisk walk, cycling is great for that, which I usually have a lot of clients the clients that I've had who had endometriosis have, we keep it, like I said, low intensity. We do water workouts. So you get into a pool. The pool is great whether you want to do a low intensity workout or a high intensity workout because it uses what's called negative force, or what basically is the harder you push, the harder it'll push against you. Similar to resistance bands, or I believe it's also called variable force or variable tension. So the more you strain, the more it strains. So the more you try, the harder you have to work. So that's good with water. I usually take a lot of clients into the pool to do a lot of different workouts in the pool because if you take it easy, it'll be easy on your body, your joints, your pelvic area where a lot of your core strength is going to come from. And that's pretty much it. Low impact workouts for endometriosis. You don't want to do it too crazy. Strength training is great for endometriosis as well because it does help you with dealing with pain. and it does help with your mental stakes. I know a lot of people who have suffer from PCOS and endometriosis also suffer from, like emotional and mental ailments with it too. Like depression can come from it, anxiety, low confidence even, and adding in low intensity strength training with low intensity cardiovascular training. Really, I've seen benefits to that for women with endometriosis specifically.
So with the low resistant, the low intensity resistance training, what does that look like for someone with PCOS? Is that using the resistance bands? Is it what does that kind of look like?
So with endometriosis, well, PCOS is slightly different in terms of the ways you want to work out as opposed to endometriosis. Endometriosis, you want to do a lighter, low tempo or low intensity workouts, like I said, doing workouts in the pool. Like, for instance, you can be underwater or have most of your body submerged in water, and you can throw kicks in the water. You can do open chest flies. You can do reverse flies. You can pretty much work out your entire body in water without feeling that that pressure on your joints, like free weights would give you if you're going heavy.
Less pressure than the free weights.
Right.
I like
resistance bands are great for women who have endometriosis because resistance bands are very versatile in terms of how you can use them. They also are easy on the joints. They also have what's called, negative force or variable tension, where the more you stretch it out, the harder it is for you to do. So you can go at your own pace and your own strength, and it's great because you can listen to your body and you can take the time more clearly. You don't have to worry about as much stability, focusing on that so you can actually know what your body's going through and hear it when it's talking to you. Pretty much.
I like it. And so that's someone with endometriosis. Now, someone with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, how should they approach movement?
Okay. So with someone with PCOS, it's not the exact same ailment as endometriosis. So you do not have to do as low impact of a workout. You can do a more intense workout with PCOS than you can do with than is recommended with endometriosis. So for PCOS, you do want to work out. You want to get some physical activity in at least 3 times a week. So I'd say a quick walk or speed walk as opposed to a light walking sort of run, or a light walk, which you would do with endometriosis. You can do actually a quick walk with PCOS, and that'll get your blood flowing. That'll get your metabolism up more. You can also do light jogging. You can do swimming. You can do cycling or biking. These are slightly more intense workouts than the ones you would do for endometriosis, but these are good ways to kind of start walking your way through that path of fitness and changing how your hormones react and how they're balanced. So with PCOS, you could add more intense strength training. You can do more free weights. You can do heavier resistance. You can do it more frequently because you don't, like I said, you don't have certain things that are stopping you from it, and you will benefit. In my experience, not personally, but with my clients, you will see a great benefit overall when it comes to adding strength training in with a good amount of cardiovascular training for women with PCOS specifically.
All right. Thank you. Now, someone with endometriosis and PCOS, how would you allow them to go that? Would you weigh heavier, more on the endo side versus the PCOS? How would you do that? Because I definitely have both endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome. So there are some people who have both.
Yeah.
How would you approach
so
that?
I was actually going to mention that too. So for women who unfortunately have to deal with both of those issues, what I would do, what I normally have done, because I have 2 clients that actually do have endometriosis and PCOS and a thyroid issue. So one of them actually got a surgery for the thyroid and then continued the workout after and all that, and seen fantastic results. But when you have endometriosis and PCOS, personally, I attack the endometriosis first because that is what's leading to majority of your discomfort. Now, PCOS, from my knowledge of it, it's not often giving you pain and discomfort as much as the endometriosis is. The PCOS is more hormonal, so you'll see things like hair coming up where you don't want it to be, or weight gain where you don't necessarily want it, where it doesn't make sense because it's not evenly distributed in your body. Endometriosis, like I said, you're going to be more, feeling of cramping, and you're feeling like you have a pain, like almost constant pain in your uterus, and that's terrible. So that's what we will focus on.
My pain usually comes like in my lower back. That was where a lot of my pain, or on the left side. where
Hmm.
my adenomyosis is in that muscular wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pain is definitely more prevalent
Hmm.
in certain areas when it comes to endometriosis. I just want to add
Definitely.
that.
Definitely. From what I've seen, I would agree. So I would have to attack that first and be more conscious of that, because when we're going to do low impact workouts, because that is more prevalent. So we're going to start off with that. Now, of course, in your journey, as you're going along, as you're learning, because a trainer's job is to teach you what they're doing and why they're doing it with you, so that one day you don't need them. It's very much like raising a kid. You teach them everything they need to know so that one day they can just go off and be great without you. So oh, there it is. Okay. So knowing that, I would start off with low impact workouts for endometriosis. As you get more comfortable with your workouts, as you get stronger, as you get more flexible, as your pain is starting to subside a bit more, then we would go increase the intensity. But definitely endo is first.
I love it. Thank you. And is there any different with the one with the thyroid as well?
With your thyroid, your main focus, in my opinion, in my experience, the main focus is putting on lean muscle to increase the metabolic rate. The lean
Okay.
muscle will help with the thyroid. Of course, some people will need to have the thyroid removed, and in cases that at times that's unavoidable due to
Mm-hmm.
the level of which you're suffering. But most of the time, it's putting on lean muscle, because that muscle, lean muscle, which is the muscle that you put on in general, you put on lean muscle first when you start lifting weights. It's harder to put on bulky muscle. Like I said, for anyone, male or female, it's hard to do. It's not impossible, it's just hard. But putting on lean muscle will increase your metabolic rate, so that'll help you um, kind of maintain your body weight as best as possible. And I know your thyroid's kind of throwing your body out of whack, but that lean muscle helps increase the metabolic rate, helps to keep fat off of you as best as possible. And then also consulting your doctor, see if it's worth or if it's necessary to have it removed, or if you can just keep your maintain your level of fitness and dietary, I guess, structure.
I got you. So now that we have a pretty good idea of how we can approach movement or get started for someone with polycystic ovarian syndrome or endometriosis, how important is it now for goal setting? And what does that look like when it's time to start identifying goals and then putting those things in action?
Okay. Goal setting is very important when it comes to working out. Much like a lot of things that people take on in life, it's good to set goals. It's important to set goals. When you're working out, when you're starting your fitness journey, goal setting is important, because you have a path and you have a laid out path, so to speak, of where you want to go. And so what you want to do is, you don't want to get too, in my opinion, a lot of people in this country have the ability to get very amped about something, and then if they're not seeing what they want to see when they want to see it, then it starts to drop quickly, and they start losing interest, and then they start falling back into old habits. You have to be realistic with yourself, for one. Realistically set your goals. Don't say you want to lose 50 pounds by the next 2 months. Can you do that? Yes. Is it safe to do that? Absolutely not. So be realistic with yourself, know yourself, set goals that are hard to get to but obtainable. That way, when you see these little miniature goals, let's say, for instance, you want to lose 100 pounds, just for example. Okay, if you want to lose 100 pounds, set a goal. You want to lose 100 pounds within the next year or two. But break that down. You want to lose 100 pounds? Okay, so let's say you want to lose 20 pounds every 3 months. So you set that goal. Here's what I need to do to hit 20 pounds in the next 90 days. What can I do to hit that goal? And then write out your footsteps, so to speak. Step one, do this, and then make it consistent, make it a habit. Step two, do this. Once you start seeing, you get to your little goals that you set in between your starting point and your finish point, you start realizing that, oh, I've hit 3 goals already, and you start feeling better, and you start to stick with it, and it becomes a habit. And it becomes something that you need to do, not just something you want to do. So be realistic, set realistic goals, and be nice to yourself. Take it easy.
I love that you said that. Like, give yourself about 90 days to start seeing start seeing those results. And I typically my program originally was like 8 weeks, and I was like, "Ooh, that's not long enough," because some people have higher goals. Like, I want to lose 20 pounds, and these other
Right.
things, and it's like 8 weeks doesn't give you enough time to, like you said, continue to accomplish your weekly goals. So it picks up your momentum. You get the healthy habits, but you kind of need a little bit more time to
Yeah.
truly get into that routine, to find that discipline, to where you continue to go with it. So I was like, let's move it to 12 weeks. Let's get a full
Yeah.
90 days, so to speak, to really start to explore. Because you first want to explore what movement you want to kind of get into, try different things. Once you figure that out, then it's like, okay, how do I want to consistently build this into my lifestyle? Some people like doing the same thing over time. Some people like a variety. They don't want to do the same thing every day. They want to change it up and have fun. And it takes time to really explore those things. And then it takes time for your mind and your body to connect in order for you to really start feeling and looking and seeing the results that you want. So I'm glad that you said, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds. Be realistic with that. Break that up. That's your start. Where's your starting point? And let's see how we get to your, the end point, and being able to celebrate the moments of accomplishment and build those healthy habits over time. So I'm glad you hit that.
And celebrating is another part of that. Celebrate the milestones that you hit. That'll help keep you going. That's motivation in of itself. When you hit, hey, I want to lose 100 pounds. You're 20 pounds in right now. Fantastic. Celebrate. Treat yourself. Make sure you understand what you've done. Make sure, if you need to shout it out to everybody else, so they also understand that helps, do that too. But make sure that you understand that you're on your way, and to be kind to yourself, and be patient with yourself.
I like that. Celebrate that you're on your way. And then also give yourself grace when you don't do the things that you said you really wanted to do in one day. Like sometimes it gets so hard for people when they miss a mark to just be like, all right, I'll leave it alone. I thought I could do it. I can't do it anymore. And it's just like one time that you don't show up the way you want to show up, and then now you're done. You don't even want to continue on the journey. And it's just giving yourself that scheduled grace and say, well, this is how I did show up for myself today. And it's okay to have a rest day. It's okay to just breathe today. It's okay to just do, a yoga stretch and get into one moment. Like, it's okay to just deep breathe, And so I like that. Not only celebrate yourself, but also in those times where you don't do the things that you wanted to do that day, or a week doesn't go the way you wanted it to go because maybe you had other things happening, because life happens. You still give yourself grace and you still maintain that focus on being able to accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. So I kind of want to get into like your approach. How do you help your clients approach meal prepping and dietary consistency that aligns and better helps them when it comes to movement and seeing the results and feeling good in regards to their healing journey?
All right. Well, let's say if there's a client I have that has no outstanding or prevalent health ailments or issues within that
endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome.
Right. Okay. All right. So firstly, as long as they had to contact their doctor to see, because normally when you get diagnosed with certain things, you want to start asking questions with your doctor. What movements can you do? What type of workouts can you do? How hard can you go in the gym? What type of food should you avoid? What type of food should you then implement into your diet? So you should be asking these questions with your doctor when you get diagnosed. And then you want to bring that information to your trainer, because your trainer can use all of this information. So with that information, based on what your doctor says your dietary needs are, based on what I know, I can work in conjunction with your doctor, and we pretty much look at each individual person and see what their average, what they're eating on a daily basis in terms of meal prep, what they're eating on a daily basis, what they could take out. And we like to do normally is small habit changes that lead to large life changes. So instead of eating white rice, I love white rice. I have eaten it since I was a child. I can sit there and eat a full plate of white rice and butter and salt and be good forever. Right.
My great grandma used to make that for me. I don't think she could cook, but I used to love it. I used to love just eating rice and butter.
Yes. See, so you know what I mean? Right. So yeah, I can just eat rice and butter for each meal every day. But I know that's not a good thing to do. So don't do that, right? It's just sugar and fat, and you're just putting it all in your body. And so instead of using white rice, and this is a person who loves white rice. In fact, my mom used to call me a geechee, which I come to find out was a person who loves rice. And well, it was called a guala geechee. I found out later in life, and I didn't know what that meant. Apparently, it's some southern thing where people in the South like eat rice a lot. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, that was my nickname for a good few years, just Geechee. And I didn't know what it was. It sounded like a slur to me when I was a kid. I was like, is that okay to call me? I don't know. But I embraced it. It is what it is. But yeah, so like what I like to do is I substitute my rice. I will have rice occasionally because there are some minerals and vitamins in white rice. There's not a lot. You'll get more of it from brown rice, wild rice. You get the same vitamins and minerals that are in white rice, but you'll get more of them. And you won't get nearly as much sugar or gluten and stuff like that in your rice. So instead of doing that, maybe try couscous. Try couscous. There's several different rice substitutes you can use. Try that with your next meal. Okay, so maybe for the next week, don't eat any candy. Or even solids, break it down even further. For the next 24 hours, don't smoke a cigarette. Don't eat chocolate. Don't eat a cold cut sandwich unless you cook it all the way through. Try not to eat bread for the next 24 hours. And we find out what we find is that people who find out, I can do this for a day, maybe I can try it for the next day too. And they start to build a little bit more confidence in the fact that they can make these small changes, and they can make those small changes habits. And then next thing you're 100 pounds less, and your skin looks good, and your hair is good and thick, and you've made some sustainable, long-lasting changes in your life. So yeah, we start off making small habit changes that become long-lasting life changes.
I like that. And what I love the most about it is, even though you were talking about embracing your nickname, I think it's embracing the journey. And so you have to kind of have an open mind into trying different things in order for them to eventually become habits. And then and I think sometimes so many people say, I'm going to do something for so many days. But if you just take it one day at a time, like you said, you build up that confidence, and then you start really embracing the journey, and then the creativity comes. Because currently I am on like this raw journey. And I only started it initially to do 3 days with my friend or co-host of the Herbal Tea Thursdays. We go live every Thursday. And we was like, let's try a raw challenge. And her challenge didn't really go as planned, but it was good because we have individual journeys. But the beautiful thing about it is when we started it, or by the time we finished it, we found meals that we wouldn't have tried had we not have been on a raw journey, that we enjoyed, that we like, that we can go back to. And since I've been doing it, it allows me to really try different stuff. And so many times people say go raw, they be like, oh, all you eating is salads and smoothies all day, And to be able to show all these different things, people are like, oh my God, that looks good. That looks good. And they're opening up their mindset because they're seeing my creativity. So it allows me to create different habits for myself, but at the same time, I'm finding that that's discipline in early areas. Now, if I know I can be disciplined in choosing what I eat every day, I should be able to start seeing this level of discipline and focus in other areas of my life that I would like to, be more disciplined in. And it makes me excited because it's telling myself that I know I can do hard things. And so I love that you brought that into the conversation in regards to meal prepping and planning. Is just keeping that open mind, embracing something different. Because why? Because it has more nutrients, more vitamins, minerals. It has more of a benefit for you eating these other foods while you're on a journey of healing. So why not get more of what you need versus just kind of leaning into what you're familiar with or comfortable with, because you've had it all your life. So it's not like you're missing out on anything. So why not just try something different? If you want to be a different you have to embrace creativity and optimistic mindset. You can't stay who you always, were. And so I like that you said that. And I'm a foodie, so I had to
me too.
kind of get it in just a little bit.
Yeah, you can't do the same stuff you've always done and still expect anything to change or anything different. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to be open to allow yourself to be uncomfortable, because uncomfortability is only temporary. Especially if you're walking around with PCOS and endometriosis, you're already uncomfortable all the time. Make some small changes that'll have you uncomfortable for a short period of time, but will then benefit you even from the beginning, even if you're uncomfortable with it, because it's not something you're used to doing. It's not a change you're used to making, or it's not a taste or a flavor or texture that you like normally. Be okay with being uncomfortable, because it is only temporary and it will benefit you in the long run. in the short run. It'll benefit you.
Yeah, and then it goes right back then to like your mood and how you just feel about yourself for that day. So I want to ask you
Right.
another question. So can you share your perspective on the efficacy of herbal supplements in conjunction with physical fitness for those with hormone balance?
So ethically, I don't see it as long as they're ethically sourced, organic, natural, not having any byproducts, chemicals, vaccines, anything unnecessary in those supplements. If you're using them in conjunction with physical fitness and dietary changes, there's no way you're going to lose. There's no way. As a person, like, my wife and I, we have a CMOS based products coming out for our health and fitness company. I've been taking CMOS regularly. Even when I'm exhausted, I still have energy somehow. I actually was in a car accident recently where I broke my shin and my knee. But I'm pretty consistently physically fit and working out, always moving around. I take my supplements. I can't tell that my knee and my shin are broken. I know the doctors said they were. Now, that's not for everybody. That's for me personally. It's my own personal journey. Maybe I just high tolerance and pain. But when it comes to mixing your supplements with your workouts, there's no way you can lose, really, unless you're not doing the proper workouts, or you're doing workouts with your supplements, but you still have a crappy diet, or your diet is mostly crap as opposed to at least 50-50, 50-50 stuff that make you feel good, 50-50 stuff that make you actually good, look good, so yeah, supplements, when you're mixing them in, it's really all beneficial. Your workouts, when it comes to endometriosis, PCOS, the workouts you do are going to help balance your hormones. It's going, like, for instance, strength training will help lower your testosterone and increase your estrogen, which a lot of women with PCOS have high testosterone, which leads to the hair bumps and the facial hair growth and growth in general that you don't want. That can lead, pretty much higher testosterone. We want to lower that down. So yeah, mixing your workouts with your supplements will help balance your hormones, which can also actually lead to better menstrual cycles. And in some cases, I've seen it lead to increased fertility in women.
And that's a beautiful thing, because a lot of people with PCOS, or it's very common for them to struggle with fertility. Not everybody, but I think that's beautiful that you brought that into the conversation, to know that this is beneficial, this is helpful, this allows you to kind of address that issue, or that obstacle or challenge, I should say. And you kind of hit on energy a little bit. So what techniques do you use to kind of motivate your clients who face challenges with energy levels and work out consistently? And then we're going to get into how we're going to do the little CMOS hacks, because you just brought that CMOS into the game. And CMOS, to me, does not taste that great.
No, yeah. No, it depends. It depends on how you get it. But in general, CMOS tastes like the ocean. So if you're not prepared for that, you're going to be in a good shock when you first try it. Yeah. So with energy, for me personally, I don't know. For me personally, I seem to always have this like large reserve of energy that I can kind of pull from when necessary. But when it comes to like getting the energy to work out, getting energy to get up and get moving, what I think works for a lot of people in my experience has worked is finding your motivation, right? So find that one reason. The same reason you get out of bed is the same reason you need to go and move. Find, either it be for your child, for your success in life, for your own happiness, for your own body, or just to be more disciplined. Find that motivation that makes you get up, that makes you want to do this. Whether you actually want to do it or not, find that motivation that makes you go do it. For instance, for me, if I'm working a labor job, I don't want to go work a labor job where I can possibly fall off a ladder, get crushed by a pallet, something like that. But I have to feed my family. So whether I want to do this job or not, I'm going to go and do it because it's necessary. It's needed for me to survive. It's needed for me to be the best that I can be, for them to be the best they can be. So like, that's usually my motivation. If I don't feel like working out, I have to be strong to be able to play with my kids. I have to be strong to show them that we can do this. I have to be disciplined enough to show them that you can achieve things if you really try.
So what about for those and your clients that you work with PCOS and endometriosis?
So with them, I try to help them discover within themselves, find their reason internally. But then also, there's certain techniques, for instance, like sea moss coffee, for instance, that helps boost your energy because you're also replacing your minerals and your vitamins. Then staying hydrated is extremely important, and not just with like regular water, because regular water by itself, even purified or spring water, it doesn't necessarily hydrate you as well as other things can. So, for instance, if you take that purified water or alkaline water, whatever type of water you're drinking, just don't drink sink water. If you're drinking that water, at least not in this country, but if you got your water, sprinkle in some Celtic salt, like a pinch of Celtic salt. That Celtic salt and like a half a gallon of water will hydrate you very well. Also, coconut water is extremely hydrating, much more than regular spring water by itself. So I would do that. Staying hydrated is great for your energy levels. Of course, you have mushroom coffees that are natural organic that you can use. And then bringing a friend, coming with a friend, having somebody else to help you stay accountable. Hey, we're going to the gym today. I don't really feel like it, but okay, let's go. When you have someone else there, even if you don't feel like, you're still more motivated to go with them, just to go yourself, because somebody else is going to be there with you. It makes it a little easier mentally to know that you're not going through it by yourself. And that usually helps people get the energy. Okay, well, my friend's going to be there, or I'm so-and-so is going to be there. I'm going to. So I always recommend find your motivation. Also your supplements, staying hydrated will help with energy, and bringing a friend, working out with other people. That group mentality really helps to push people along further than they think they can go.
I love that. And I appreciate you hitting that. I just saw, I think a post, it could have been yesterday, in a polycystic ovarian syndrome group on Facebook that just talked about like, I got to get to walking again, but I just don't feel like going. Like I just don't feel like doing it. And I was just like, just think about you. What is the benefit for going? Like, just go show up for you in that walk. Just show up for you in that walk. And so I know, based on like energy levels and, struggling with motivation, that is a true thing, like for someone with PCOS and endometriosis. Sometimes the pain is so unbearable with endometriosis, you can barely even get out of the bed. So even in that instance, it might not be a walk. It might just be a few stretches or a few yoga stretches just to try to release that tension or relax your body. Deep breathing, making that connection so you're releasing the tension in your body. So I love that you mentioned those things about how to get your energy levels up. Staying hydrated, that's adding that Celtic salt into your water, that's drinking coconut water. And you got to find the right coconut water for you, because I got that Vita Coco one time and I was like, no, this is fear. This is so disgusting. I'm not having it. But Harmless Harvest was good for me. The C2O coconut water, I can get that in a can now. It's really good for me. So I love that you hit the coconut water, the sea moss coffee, the mushroom coffee, the sea moss coffee. I think all of those give people at least some type of option to try, or options to kind of knock out to even see which one would work for them. But most importantly, that accountability partner hits different, especially because now it's not just a commitment to yourself, it's a commitment to someone else, that you all are going to do these things together, and you've identified your why. Of why you're going to do these things together. But sometimes that works with someone who's more of a competitive person. But then again, you just don't want to not show up for people if you say that. You want to kind of have a little bit of integrity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it keeps you, like I said, it keeps you accountable. If you tell somebody you're going to do something and they're like, hey, I'm on my way, are you on your way there? And you might be like, yes, okay. But that got you to the gym. Just do, if you're having a tough day, if it's hard to get out of bed, try to do one thing. Just do one thing. Finish it, see how you feel. That might lead you to do one more thing. And then one more thing. Maybe you got out of bed, you're hurting, you're cramping, you're feeling tired, you don't want to go, don't want to get out of bed. PCOS and endometriosis plays a large effect on your mental state and your emotional state, your depression, your anxiety, your confidence. If you do one thing, that can help boost you a little bit to do another thing. Maybe if you're not feeling good, do some stretches if you can. Do some stretches. Maybe if you're able to do it, just do a couple quick jumping jacks. I find myself that I'm running low on energy. I don't feel, great. I'm not even thinking straight sometimes. I'll just start working out. I'll start doing jumping jacks and push-ups, squats, sit-ups. That boosts your mental state. That boosts your cognitive ability. That boosts that lowers your anxiety, lowers your depression level, and helps build your self-confidence, even right there in the moment when you're doing it. And of course, if you continue to do it over a long time, it continues to stay, maintain higher levels of self-confidence and strength and belief in yourself, and lowering the anxiety and depression.
I like it. Thank you for sharing that. And as soon as you said it, I'm thinking, like, I feel like kids should be doing that in the middle of testing, or taking a quick testing break when they're starting to fall asleep, because they sleep so much more during testing nowadays than they do trying to be alert and focused to complete a test. So it's just like, I feel like I remember being able to do stretches and even, like, bend down, touch your toes, like do
Yeah.
toe raises and all those kind of things. And now they can't move, they can't do this, they can't do that, they can barely breathe. And it's just like, when you say that, that's exactly what I was thinking. But I was like, well, if I'm feeling sleepy or mentally drained, and okay, I can hit a few jumping jacks. I don't know about all those other things you were talking about doing, but I can hit a few jumping jacks, or maybe, like, throw a song on and dance, and start feeling really good. Maybe a song or two, to really get in a better state. So my next question is thinking about, like, how do you address sleep hygiene and stress within, like, your fitness coaching, considering the benefits and the impact it has on health and fitness?
Oh, well, first of all, that's the first time I've heard that term, sleep hygiene. I've never heard that one before. So when it comes to sleep, though, just like pretty much everything else, especially if you're doing strenuous activity or working out regularly throughout the week, sleep is extremely important. Studies show that if you don't get enough sleep, you will be more likely to be depressed. You will be more likely to have this sense of dread in your body because you are exhausted. Your cognitive ability isn't firing at the speed and efficiency that it normally should be or can be. You're not going to be as quick or as crisp as you need to be. You're going to be down emotionally and mentally. So when it comes to sleep, working out, straining your body, putting that positive stress on yourself will help you, and can often helps you get better rest, deeper sleep. So if you have to supplement with an all-natural supplement like melatonin, stuff like that, depends. Some people can overdose on melatonin, so don't take too much of it. You only need like 10 milligrams of it.
It didn't work for me very well. I tried the melatonin gummies, and that my dreams were all off the time. I was like, I'm never taking this again.
Okay.
But ashwagandha has really helped me a lot with it. So I would do, like, my ashwagandha gummies, and that has been nice. And I've had it in a tea blend before, from one of my friends that are really into herbs, but it's been the ashwagandha for me. But that melatonin, I couldn't even do it.
Yeah, melatonin isn't, even though your brain makes it, putting additional melatonin in your body isn't really the best answer for everyone. So it really depends on each person's, like, physiological makeup. So I was gonna say ashwagandha is another good thing, but another all natural way, if you don't want to, if you eat bananas, for instance, bananas are a great source of potassium. If you eat bananas, if you're not allergic to them, because they are similar to, like, kiwi in a sense. If you're allergic to kiwi, you might also be allergic to banana or pineapple a little bit. But if you have bananas, don't throw away your banana peel, boil your banana peel, and then drink that water. That is an all-natural sleep aid that it doesn't cause for you to buy melatonin or take melatonin or ashwagandha in case it doesn't, interact with your body well. You can honestly just make banana peel tea, and that works just like ashwagandha or melatonin. So yeah, sleeping is very important. Sleeping is where your body does pretty much majority of its healing. So if you're working out, you're putting these little tears in your muscles to help you build more muscle, or you're stressing out your body, your brain, your body, your emotions, your heart, your soul recovers mostly when you get deep sleep. Now, a lot of people think that REM or REM sleep is the deepest sleep. There's actually a sleep called REM N4, which is actually where your body goes into sleep. If you sleep, let's say 8 hours a night, about 20 minutes of that is in the actual deepest state of sleep, the N4 stage. That's where you do all of your healing, where your muscles heal up, where your bones heal up, where your mind rests. It's about 20 minutes a night. So if you're sleeping less than 8 hours, you're not even getting that 20 minutes, and more likely than not. Your body's never really recovering fully. You're never really at 100%. So rest is extremely important, whether you're doing strenuous activities or not, because that's also where you can decompress too and wake up refreshed and rejuvenated for the next day.
I like it. Thank you. That banana peel tea was new to me. So I like that. I don't like bananas, but I think that is like it's definitely something to put in your pocket in case, somebody might need that or are
Yeah.
willing to try that versus, some people might be hesitant on like the ashwagandha or melatonin, but they might not be too hesitant with their own banana peel and making their own tea. Do you add anything to it, or it's just a banana peel, boiling that and just put it in the water? You don't no sweetener needed or anything. You just take it straight.
Well, it depends. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I've grown used to bitter flavors or just things like, for instance, if you drink beer, I drank beer before. I got used to I didn't like the taste of beer. I got used to it. I didn't like the taste of black coffee. I got used to it because black coffee is better for you. If you're going to drink coffee, drinking it black is the best version of it because there are pretty good benefits to drinking coffee. As long as you don't overdo it with the coffee, there are some benefits to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I can just drink it straight. It doesn't taste the best. It doesn't taste like sweet bananas. It's it's banana peel. So you can add in some sweetener if you want to add in like some non-dairy creamer. You can actually do that. It works well with the tea. If you want to add in coconut sugar or even organic maple syrup, those work really well with the blend too.
Okay, I like that. Now that helps, and I like to give people like some type of disclaimer of what they're about to get themselves into, so it's not like this thing's so nasty and you don't even know what
Right.
you're doing. Like that coconut water experience I had first,
Yeah.
and it was, yo, go get this pot of cocoa, and it was like, nah, I was about to tap out
Right.
coconut.
Yeah. I've had it before.
But you talked about emotions, so I kind of want to know, how do you help your clients, and of course the ones with polycystic ovarian syndrome or endometriosis, when it comes to like managing their stress and emotional challenges while they're trying to work out with their fitness goals? Like, how do you help them navigate through their emotional well-being when trying to accomplish their fitness goals?
Well, for me, mostly in my experience, it's really majority of just reassuring people, letting them know, hey, I see what you're going through. I see what you're doing, and I see your goal. I see what you've accomplished. I see the progress you're making, because what happens is, as a personal trainer, as a person on the outside, and as a fitness coach, I get to see everything about you before you do. I get to see all the progress you make before you do. If you lose 5 pounds, I will see it before you notice, because I get to see you regularly. I get to see the improvements. I get to see how much stronger you've gotten. I get to see how much faster you are. I get to see how much more flexibility you have, how much more endurance you have, because in your mind, you're not there. A lot of people, and most of the time, a lot of people, especially in my experience with training women, they're further along than they realize they are. Like, you're better than you think, you know? And so a lot of it is reassuring people, hey, I know you feel like this right now, I can assure you, I see it. You're on the right path. Helping build that confidence is a common thing that I like to do. I love to help people feel good about themselves, which is part of the reason why I became a personal trainer. I love making people laugh and smile. I love making people feel good. So building that self-confidence and then helping them, reassure them, it's a lot of reassurance, letting them know, like, hey, if you're not doing what you need to be doing in the time you need to be doing, I will let you know and we will change things. But if I haven't changed anything, you're on the right path. Be patient, be confident. You're okay. So yeah, most of it is reassuring and letting them know, like, hey, be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some patience. Because there's gonna be days where you're gonna see it, you're gonna feel it, and there's gonna be days where you're not really seeing it, you're not feeling it.
Agreed. I love that. Be patient and be kind, as well as reassurance. And I think that reassurance piece is definitely okay, because now you're having this outside voice get louder than the inside voice, and it's those inner voices sometimes that we need someone to kind of come in and help you turn the volume up a little bit more, and nothing's wrong with that. I just think that you just have to continue with that confidence building to be able to start being able to turn your own voice up, because you might not always have the right people nearby or around to help you turn that voice up. And something that's been helping me with building up my confidence have been doing an achievement inventory journal. And that's pretty much just writing down, your accomplishments, or when you've overcome a challenge, and just like kind of like celebrating yourself, because you're now aware of all the things that you've been able to overcome, whether it was in that day, the day before. And when you're just starting it, you're just thinking about what all comes to mind originally about the things that you've been able to accomplish. And over
Mhm.
time, as you start writing, you start thinking about other times might be in the past or just within that day or even in that setting. Like I could be writing in my classroom and then I'm starting to think about all the things I've been able to accomplish as a teacher, or for my students, or how I showed up for them. And so that achievement inventory journaling has been a shift for me when it comes to boosting my confidence and feeling better about myself and knowing a little bit more about me. So I love that you do that for your clients when it comes to that reassurance and building up that confidence.
Mm.
So we're going to get into like the last two questions of the episode. And this one, I feel like you have boys, right?
I have one boy.
And you
You're
have
about
a,
children, right?
yeah, uh-huh. And then
Okay,
don't
yeah.
you have another one on the way?
On the way, yes.
Is that
That's gonna be a girl.
okay? Good. Okay, so this is a great one because I know you already had a son, and I
Yeah.
wasn't quite sure what the second baby was going to be. So you're now about to be a girl dad.
Yeah.
What are the most important things that you're looking forward to in regards to cultivating a relationship with that girl, knowing that eventually she's going to have a menstrual cycle, and you're not quite sure what those changes and stuff are going to look like? Because typically dads are out of the conversation when it comes to menstrual cycle. That's just kind of what we've seen. It's like you go talk to your mom about that. But if the mom's not present, I just feel like menstrual cycles are a part of your health. Just like if she was having a headache, she would want to tell her daddy she's having a headache. If her foot hurts, her shin, anything like that, it shouldn't be like separate body aspects of health should be related to just one parent or the other. What are some tips or strategies that you would give to other dads who are about to, or to other dads who have daughters, in regards to menstrual health and showing up and having those relationships, to be present, not knowing if it could potentially lead to like a polycystic ovarian syndrome symptoms or endometriosis, especially that you have a wife with PCOS? How does that look like showing up and being supportive?
Well, what I would recommend, I think it is situational because traditionally men generally don't have to concern themselves with those issues. Even when the women in their lives have to face those issues, it's usually not. It is a separation there. For me personally, what I would recommend is education. Educate yourself as the man, as the father or the husband, the boyfriend. If you have a woman who's important in your life, whether it be your daughter, your wife, your fiance, your girlfriend, and they're going through something, if you want to be there for them, if you want to just try to understand it more, educate yourself a bit on what it is that they're going through, on what they might be facing, the challenges of what they're going through. Really, educating yourself is the main thing. So that way you have some information and some knowledge and some perspective on their situation. Because it's not just their situation, because you're sharing life with them, you live with them, you raise them, you marry them. It's your situation, sort of, because it's going to affect you one way or another. So you might as well be knowledgeable about it and prepared. So number one step, learning about it. Number two, be willing to listen. I know sometimes these conversations get kind of out of the realm of what men are prepared to talk about or listen to, for that matter. Because I know sometimes I'll just sit there and like, oh my God, I'm not old enough for this conversation, and so yeah, be prepared to be there, to listen, to hear stuff that you might find gross or you don't want to talk about. It's okay. It's a part of life. It's a part of being a woman. It's a part of being your daughter or your wife or your girlfriend. So learning about the situation, being willing to listen to them and let them kind of, sort of drop off a bit of their stress or unload or, kind of decompress with you. And then on top of that, be willing to do the, make the moves necessary to help them in that situation. So say, for instance, if my daughter's going through her, menstrual cycle, what I know about it, not from from secondhand experience, obviously not firsthand, but what I know about it. Okay, so you're going through your menstrual cycle. Okay, here's these things that can help you. Know what things can help aid the symptoms of different things like PCOS, endometriosis, your period, menstrual cycle. Know what can help aid those symptoms, and then just be there. Take that knowledge. Okay, well, here's what I know about that. Let's try this. Your From what I've seen, your daughter, your wife, your girlfriend, they will appreciate the fact that you took the time and effort to learn about it, get some perspective on what they're going through, and then finding ways to try to help. So I mean, it's really that simple. Learn about
I
it,
love
even if a
that.
little bit. Learn about,
That
yeah,
was
learn
dope.
about it and be there.
I think what I would like for you to elaborate a little bit more on, because what if this is a father who might have just lost his wife or his girlfriend and he has a young daughter and might not be ready to have that conversation? I love that you said education. I love that you said listen, make moves to help. But when you said know the things that would help with endometriosis type signs or symptoms, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, what are those things that they should be thinking about? How can they help? Because what if they don't know how to help with that? Like, what would, knowing what you
Right.
know, what are
So,
those things that you would tell them to kind of do to be able to help?
well, yeah. So if they don't know, like, you have to learn or gain knowledge of what the symptoms of endometriosis is, and that will in turn help you gain knowledge of what it is and what it's doing to the person. And these are the symptoms that come from that. So if you know the symptoms of it, you can then search or gain knowledge on what the best ways to treat those symptoms are, because you can't necessarily fix the endometriosis, most likely as just a single father. You're not a scientist. You probably can't fix that, but you can help uh, alleviate the symptoms. So, all right, so you're having these pains in your uterus. What's going to help with that? Is it going to be heat? Is it going to be cold? Do you need massages? Is there medications that you need to take? Are these medications safe for you to take? You know, kind of education is really the main thing. Learn
That's what
about
I
it.
wanted
Read
you to hit.
about it.
Those
Yeah.
things right there. So they have like a few things to even kind of pivot to just to see if that's working. So that's
Mm-hmm.
endo. What about polycystic ovarian syndrome? You start seeing these things. What are some, just a few things they could probably gauge to start trying to do to help?
Yeah, so same thing. If you pay attention to the woman in your life, pay attention to your daughter. If you see your daughter, you see maybe she's complaining about certain hair growth here. If she's seen gaining weight in certain areas, but it doesn't necessarily even out with her body. If she's dealing with certain issues inside, you go to see a doctor, and even if they diagnose her, you want to learn what PCOS is doing to their body, what symptoms it's going to display in them, and then figure out ways to help. So like for me, it'll be more towards the fitness side. Okay, so this is what's going on. You have a hormonal imbalance. We need to change some things in your life to make your hormones more balanced so that these symptoms are not so prevalent in your life. So say, for instance, all right, most of the time, more likely than not, because of who my wife is and who I am, our children aren't going to be eating crap all the time or almost ever. So
And
of
what does
course,
that
like,
crap look like? So people know what is considered crap.
okay, so like foods that have red 40 in it, any type of food that you go and buy at most stores in this country pretty much now at this point. So if it comes in a wrapper, if it has sugar in it, if it's colorful, if it was made or distributed or sold by the United States government, it's probably bad for you, more likely than not. If it comes from the US, unless it says organic or local, it more than likely is not going to be good for you. Even if it has stuff in it that's good for you, it will more than likely have other stuff that isn't good for you. So crap food, eating like, rice all the time. White rice is not great to be eating all the time. Even though you and I could both eat that every day, it's not good for you to be eating all the time. Even down to certain fruits. Eating fruit is fantastic, but fruit is high in sugar as well as fiber. Don't want to eat too much fruit, for instance, even though fruit's fantastic. Just making conscious, just being aware. Read the labels, read the ingredients on the back of your products. If it has things like natural flavors or red anything or food coloring of any kind, if it has high fructose corn syrup, if it has I forgot the new word they're using for this, it's a scent that you give to food, but they get it from a gland inside of an animal that you probably don't want to know about. But I know about that because I've came across the information. Now I don't eat things with that specific chemical in it. Chemicals in general, if it added chemicals into your food, most of the time you can decide if food is crap if you read the ingredients or if you read the nutrition facts. If you take one serving of this and it has 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it, you probably shouldn't eat it. You probably should definitely stay away from it. These are things that would indicate crap food to me, or food that does not benefit your body or that does more harm than good.
got you.
You know?
And I'm glad you hit on that natural flavors, because people be like, oh, well, it's natural flavors. And then once I got into what is natural flavors, and then all the different things natural flavor could possibly mean, but they get to put it on the label. You thinking, oh, it's just the natural
Uh-huh.
flavor of the food, and it's totally not the
Right.
natural flavor.
Like you can put
Nothing but
natural flavors on Skittles.
there we go.
There's nothing
Exactly.
natural about a way a Skittle tastes at all. You don't have that flavor in nature.
Exactly. But I appreciate you breaking that down, and giving that more of a context for those who might not necessarily know. And y'all, Bear is definitely the fitness trainer, and then his wife is the holistic nutritionist. And she's a few episodes before, and she broke it down even more with the different foods, but even giving you an app to start scanning
Yeah, we
products,
use that
just so you can
frequently.
get,
Yeah.
just so you'll
That,
know a little bit more about the food, and the sources and what's all in it. So you're making conscious, mindful decisions in regards to what you're eating. But salute to you, girl dad, on the way. That
thank
was
you.
beautiful the way you approached that, not only with someone whose wife has PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, and how well you show up in the conversations, and that listening piece is one. Education definitely was beautiful, but then how do you be there? How do you actually be there to help? And that's beautiful. Instead of saying, well, I don't know nothing about it, and then, just letting it go. Like you're a part of it, like you said, because you love them and you care
Right.
about them. But I appreciate that one. And then last question. If you could have a meal with any historical figure, who would it be and what would y'all eat?
Any historical figure? There's so many ones that come to mind immediately. This might be a little controversial. I would have dinner with the founder of the BlackRock company.
The BlackRock company?
Yeah. BlackRock is a company that owns pretty much everything and pulls the strings for pretty much everywhere. And essentially the what do you call it? Evil overlords of the world, basically.
Okay. So this is going to be interesting. So we know you're going with the BlackRock company. That's who you having a meal with. What y'all eating?
So let's see. It depends, because this is an extremely uber rich person, like wealthy beyond wealthy, right? So I'm probably eating everything on the menu because they can afford it. So plus I love to eat. I tell people all the time, I'm a fat kid at heart. I love food. Me gaining weight has never been something hard to do. So I have to always be conscious of that. But I love simplicity as much as I love like extravagant food. I love just give me a grass-fed 21-ounce T-bone steak and some organic roasted potatoes with parsley and a little bit of salt and pepper. That's pretty much it. I gotta have broccoli. I love my broccoli. Yeah. So that simple meal, but if it's done right, it'll be fantastic. Now, the reason why I would want to have dinner with this person is so I could pretty much know everything that they know what they're gonna do, know what they have plans on doing, and know how they got to where they are. Like pretty much pick the brain of an intelligent, wealthy person, and even if they may seem a little evil,
We lost connection with you, Bear. So I love that. And I think it's brilliant to have high level conversations with people that are wealthy to really understand their journey, but then to specifically pick that company to know where they're going. It's like you're able to strategize after that,
yes,
not only for yourself, but for your family and know what's
exactly.
happening. So
Yes.
I'm glad that's it. I love it. I love that response. But go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, what all you have to offer, and how you can help. But most importantly, thank you. Thank you for being such a support when it comes to those of us with polycystic ovary syndrome and endometriosis. being educated about it, being able to take everything that we're going through or could be going through, because everyone's experience with polycystic ovarian syndrome and endometriosis is different. So it's clearly not a one size all fits approach, but being able to see us and want to help us throughout our healing journey through movement, and you know enough about nutrition as well with it all. I just want to say thank you, because I really appreciate that, because a lot of people, when it comes to their healing journey, struggle when it comes to movement and feel like it's ineffective, and they don't understand how important movement truly is to healing. But go ahead and let everybody know.
Yeah, well, I thank you for saying that, and we really appreciate it. Like I said, I love helping people. I love helping people feel good. I love helping people build confidence in themselves. And yeah, that's why I take the time to educate myself on what could be ailing someone, but especially women, because we all need our allies, right? We all need people that aren't necessarily in the situation, but can empathize with the situation and maybe try to help. So I love being an ally of people. I'm not an ally of everyone. I'm not an ally of everyone, but I'm an ally of people that I like to be an ally and help people where I can. I'm like I said, I'm not an ally for everybody. I'm not Jesus, but I'm working on it, working on being the best version of me that I can be. But if you need help building confidence, if you need help getting motion, being a prevalent part of your life, if you need help getting in shape, changing habits, changing your lifestyle, if you need help with nutrition, if you need, you know, any of these services, anything that could benefit, if you have anything in your life that could benefit from these services, yeah, reach out to us. We're always available. You can reach us on social media, Facebook, Instagram at Bear Jammie Health and Fitness, LLC, or Bear Jammie Health and Wellness on Facebook. We have our contact information on there, email addresses, websites, phone numbers. You can reach us there. We offer virtual training sessions, virtual consultations. As a matter of fact, if you have any clients who come from, or not clients, excuse me, if you have any audience members, any viewers who come from your show, if anybody who says, hey, I found you on the Empowered Place podcast, then the first 20 people will get a free assessment from me, whether it be in person or virtual. So there's no cost for that. We can, check you out and see what's going on in your life and what you can do. No problem. No problem at all. Yeah, reach out to us, Bear Jammie Health and Wellness, or Bear Jammie Health and Fitness on Instagram and Facebook.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for that. So, y'all, if you're going to check them out, make sure you let them know that you came from the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. You saw them first. So, if you're seeing Bear episode now, go ahead and run back and go see Jammie. So, when you had that first, if you wanted the first 20, you can come educated, knowledgeable, all about them, so you can have the most meaningful, valuable conversation and consultation with them as possible. But Bear, thank you. Thank you for coming on Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast. It's been a whole movement. See what I did there? Of a vibe. So I really appreciate that. And y'all, if you're just starting on this healthy habits and lifestyle change for yourself on your healing journey, also in the description of this video will not only be their information, but also I got a free anti-inflammatory guide for you to kind of go ahead and start helping you make those mindful decisions, not only in regards to movement, but also in what you're eating, and as well as for your mindset and the different ways that you can show up and care for yourself every day to eliminate stress. So if you need that, it is in the description of this video. But y'all, it's been another great vibe in the studio. Yeah. Thank you, Bear.
Thank you.
For coming. And then thank you, audience. If you enjoyed anything in this episode, please make sure you drop it in the comments so we can see how us being able to show up visibly and vocally has impacted you or influenced any way that you want to go about doing things. But again, remember, my journey and Bear's journey is our own personal journey. You take what you can get from this or what you want from this, and you apply it to your life. We're only here to be of an impact, just to empower you to value your health and your well-being. So until next time, y'all, thanks for vibing with us. Be light, be well. We love you.